Welcome to The View. Welcome to TMZ. Welcome to World Star.
Oh,
is that where we're at?
World
Trump
Star.
v. Elon. Let's go.
World Star.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. Welcome to an emergency podcast episode of the Matt Kim Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kim, joined by my co-host, Mr. Peter Saddington.
What's up? What's up? My heart goes out to all of you guys. Smash the like button. We're going to be talking about Trump versus Elon today.
We were not planning on recording today,
but we're doing it for the people.
And then I opened up my X yesterday for the first time in like a couple weeks.
The people were wanting.
And I was like, what the hell is going on here?
Nukes have been dropped.
It is. Okay. For anyone that's living under a rock, the two most powerful men in the world are publicly poo-flinging.
It's like this right now, man. They're like, ah.
And people are like, they don't know what to do.
Everyone's shell-shocked.
They don't know whose side to take. You know what I mean?
Is it the Mahas, the MAGAs, the liberals? Like, nobody knows what to do.
Like, who are you supposed to side with here?
Which red button are you supposed to put on the nukes? Right? Which one?
So, for context, and actually, yesterday when I saw this, I put up on my X feed. I said, for the record, remember when everyone flamed me for saying this Trump X Elon was a bad idea?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah, well, we have receipts. Matt did call this out. We did talk about it. We did get flamed. We lost lots of subscribers because, oh no, you talking about Orange Man good and the savior of the Elon complex. But yes, we have receipts. You were correct. This was a bad idea.
This was a bad idea. And our friend Billy Boozer left a comment. He said, who's it a bad idea for? And I thought about that for a second. And I was like, do you know who it's bad for? It's bad for Americans.
You mean you and I?
It's bad for you. It's bad for me. It's bad for all Americans. It's bad for all global citizens. When the two most powerful men in the world publicly spat like school children
on the internet,
it's not a good look.
Not a good look. You're not wrong.
It's like taking whatever progress even if the progress was significant or not. Mm-hmm. There was this idea that this new administration and MAGA, which we were very bullish on early, a little hesitant on post-election, but it was this idea that finally we get to see what these new ideas will look like.
You have the most powerful man in politics. You have one of the richest and most powerful men in industry coming together, and you would think that the recipe of these two men coming together would make an excellent stew. An amazing thing.
And this was an opportunity to show the world, to show this country that conservative ideas, values, that it can work. And really what's going on is in a public setting, they're fucking it up.
They're not, let's just say they're not building a lot of confidence right now in American politics and American control or whatever.
And I can hear it already in the comment section. No, it's this guy's fault. No, it's this guy's fault. They are grown men. They are at the pinnacle of their individual respective industries.
Yeah.
There's got to be a better way.
They're at the top of their game, and they're spatting like two little bitches. Let's be honest, man. You said poo-flingers. All the SARs are going to get upset, but yeah, they're flinging poo all over the internet right now. You can't not step in it.
And I was shocked. Okay, and quick disclaimer: I have no idea why they're actually fighting.
It's because the big, beautiful bill that was going to be reducing spending, and part of that is the Teslas and the electric cars, and Elon ain't going to get his money.
But I understand that that's a very fitting narrative, but I don't think that's enough to get two people fighting like this.
Wait.
This is bigger than a political disagreement. This is bigger than a business disagreement. This is like pure rage.
Let me ask you.
Two qualified businessmen do not rage fight like this over a policy or business.
Well, let me counter that. You're a businessman, a successful entrepreneur and operator. You have had, and you're not spilling any tea here, but you have had business spats with contracting agencies, vendors, partners, and even at the low amount, it's been troublesome to you. Correct. So my counter is, if it's $1 million right? People will go to legal troubles to make sure that they get that money back or something like this. But if it's billions of dollars, could you not say that, hey, maybe Elon's really upset that he's losing billions of dollars of tax incentives and tax deductions and money to his programs?
I would have thought that.
Money makes people crazy. You know this.
I would have thought that if it was just the bill is bad, the bill is bad, the bill is bad, kill Bill, which was what Elon was doing, kill Bill, and that's where it ended. Then I would agree with you. But Elon did something that actually had me completely shocked and flabbergasted, which is
flabbergasted.
Flabbergasted.
It's his Asian accent too. His English is not so good sometimes.
When he said the real reason that they're not releasing the list, Epstein list, is because Trump is on it. Have a nice day, DJT. And under that, he said, save this.
Shots fired.
That was like, that is not a disagreement. That is pure rage.
That's personal attack.
That's personal. And there is this unspoken rule amongst men where even if you disagree, even if you sue each other, even if you bankrupt one another, there are places that amongst men you do not go. And we can talk about whether that tweet is true or not separately. But you don't go there. If it's someone in your known network, it's someone that your families know each other of, it's someone that you spend significant time with, that you have a personal relationship with, there are certain things that men do not do to other men.
Oh, it's kind of the whole idea of it's just business, right? It's just business, baby. But leave the personal outside.
You don't do that.
Yeah. That was some serious poo-flinging.
And when he did that, I was like, this guy hates Trump. Because you don't do that any other reason. Meaning it's bigger than just politics.
And the really weird part is we have tweets from not more than a couple months ago where Elon's saying he loves Trump and no homo. Like, I love Trump as much as a man can love another man type of deal, right? We've seen those tweets.
I mean, okay, say you and I, we have a huge blow up for whatever reason, and we decide we hate each other.
Well, it wouldn't be over money because brother ain't making no money. So
if we hate each other to the maximum degree, to the nth degree, I'm not calling your wife and go, oh yeah, do you know what? I saw Peter with another girl. I would never do that.
Guys, no,
I would never tell the world that you.
Why are you gonna use that one? You're gonna clip this.
I would never reveal that about you.
Bad example, but not wrong. And I wouldn't call your wife and be like, oh hey, I saw Matt do XYZ. You
don't do that. And take it a step further, I would never post it to the world about you.
Oh, fair enough. Absolutely.
I would never.
Never. That's because a low blow.
Even if we hate each other, even if we have the largest, biggest falling out ever, where we're literally throwing shit at each other, punching each other in the eye.
Black eye in it.
I'm still not going to the internet, hey, let me spill all of Peter's tea to you.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
You don't do it. There is an unsaid kind of rule book. Let business be business, personal.
Even straight up criminals do not do that to each other.
Not wrong. It's the thieves code.
Honor amongst thieves.
Yeah, honor among thieves.
Even the worst people in the world do not do that to one another.
Yeah. Well, we clearly see that through the whole debacle with Epstein in the Epstein list, right? No one's ratting each other out.
Nobody.
So all of these people had underage, you know what, and who was Ghislaine actually selling it to? Nobody knows, because no one's ratting each other out.
And we are removing the fact that what he's alleging is bad, and that's still a separate discussion. It's just the idea of honor amongst thieves, honor, integrity amongst men, man to man. You don't do that.
Yeah.
And when I saw him do that, I was like, fuck. I don't think I could ever invest in anything that Elon's a part of.
Ooh. Let me ask this. So your opinions of Elon have changed?
You can't trust him.
What about your opinions about Trump? Have they changed? Because, I mean, it takes two to tango. It takes two to fight.
I think Trump is doing what we expect Trump to do. And if Elon just kept on this kill Bill, he's going to bring us to recession, fine. This is men fighting.
Yeah, and you have your own opinions. Fair enough.
But when he did that Epstein thing, I was like, dude, you can't trust him. Because imagine if you were a business partner with him. He could turn on you at any given moment and give up all the tea.
Now your idea is sinking into my
You can't trust
my
him.
noodle. You cannot trust this man anymore as a business partner.
He broke the cardinal rule of all men.
He broke the bro code.
You don't do that.
No.
And if you are so mad and so emotional that you can't control yourself in that situation, I can't trust you with my money. Right? Like you can't.
Well said. Can I clap back at you? I've said this to my kids before, is that you can never trust a man who blows up in anger. And I think you can agree with me. You can be let's put an example. You can be a leader of a company for 20 years. The moment you blow up in absolute abject anger, you have just dissolved that 20 years of trust. This man is no longer a trustworthy man because he cannot control his shit. This is what I've told my kids. And so I've told them very plainly, you cannot trust an angry man. Period, full stop. Because they're not able to control themselves.
I think people handle emotion in different ways.
Well, if you're a man, you should eat that shit. That's what a man's supposed to do.
But I think even within that, there is variance. But there is a hard rule.
Yeah.
And how you perceive how they handle their emotion, I think that's separate. But the fact that you broke a cardinal hard rule, for me, that's an absolute deal breaker.
There's a reason why there's not the housewives. There's a reason why there's not the husbands of Atlanta. It's all housewives of Atlanta. Because women, if you're going all sexist, fuck off. There's a reason why those shows are so drama-filled because women don't have that rule. You can spill the tea about, you slept with her, you did this behind my back. That's great entertainment. But you've never seen a Husbands of Atlanta or Husbands of, Miami.
Well, I wouldn't watch it anyway. Well,
Yeah,
I don't watch The Housewives either, so fair.
Fair enough. That's kind of gay.
But, how could you ever trust him with anything now?
You can't.
And again,
that's a good point.
I don't know what caused it. But once I saw that, I was like, dude, he's whatever happens, he's wrong in my eyes.
If I were to put everything that you've just said together, are you saying that the water well has been poisoned? Like the water hole's been poisoned, and Elon is no longer a trustable asset to the cause?
Who can trust him again?
Well, certainly if you were...
You can't tell him anything.
If you're a businessman and you're working with millions, hundreds of millions, maybe even billions of dollars with them, I wouldn't feel very secure right now, right? Because what if he spills the tea on me?
And the claim that he made, it's a pretty big claim. Okay,
it's a claim that's on the collective conscious of the entire planet.
Yeah, say that the claim is true. There are better ways to handle that. And number one, how do you even know? And how come he has access to it, but we don't? Sidebar. But if it is true, there is a better way to handle that situation.
Oh, for sure.
If it is false, how do you trust someone that's making shit up like that?
Ooh, Matt's going deep on this idea. This is very meta at the communication level. We haven't even gone into the details yet. This is just bro code, meta level philosophy of you just don't do that shit to another man.
No, you don't do that to another man.
Especially on the Twitters.
Yeah, not like that.
Such a low bar.
Not like that.
Yeah, not like this.
Say he knew the truth and say DJT is on a list somewhere. He could have handled that better. He's the president of the United States. You're the most powerful man in the world with one of the largest platforms, arguably. You could figure that out.
Well, we know...
you don't rage tweet that.
That's the best way to put it. You know that they have each other's cell phones. You know that they're besties. So they can call each other right on private lines, right, secure lines. So to go out in the public and to air out the dirty laundry in public is very immature. Very immature. You're not wrong.
And if you're Trump, it's really telling because does he sue Elon for defamation?
That was on the tip of my tongue because if it's wrong, then Trump has more than a legal case for saying, bro, you just blasted me out to hundreds of millions of people globally saying this stuff that's wrong about me. That's a big case.
But what if he doesn't sue for defamation because maybe they don't want to go into some sort of discovery? Is that telling? This is crazy. If I was Trump and I was innocent, you have to sue him. You can't not sue him. The whole world saw what he said. And in the impression of the world, if anybody would know, Elon would know.
Fair enough.
He had access to the databases. He had access to the system. He was hanging out in Mar-a-Lago every single day for the last 6 months. If anybody would know, Elon would know.
Yes.
So if that's false, you have to sue him for defamation.
That makes the blow up even more insidious and sinister. Like, bro, you were hanging out drinking $40 shots in my house, and then you're gonna throw out the dirty laundry. Like, bro, that's so low.
Hanging out with my kids.
Yeah.
Sleeping in my house.
Bro.
Like flying on my plane. All this shit. And then that's the reaction. He is not stable.
Oof. Well, we did talk that there's significant evidence that looks like he's relatively high a lot. This would be Elon.
I mean, we saw it briefly when he was doing the peanut thing. And I got flamed because I didn't want to support the fucking squirrel. Whatever.
I like the squirrel, peanut.
And then we saw it again at the end of 2024 when we were going to the H-1B debate. And Elon got really mad and he started blocking people that were going against him. And he was getting mad. He was telling people to fuck off. And we were like, okay, this guy's not stable. We noticed it then.
Yeah.
It kind of passed. And then this.
Yeah, this is kind of the nail in the coffin. I feel like the world is waiting on pins and needles right now for how DJT is going to respond. You said he has to sue him. Let me give you another option because I think there's more than one. Another option is prove your innocence, right? Show us the bloody list. Show us what it is. Because if you and I got in a major spat, right? And you said, Peter, I have evidence that you did X, Y, and Z. And first off, it costs money to sue people, and I don't have that much money, so I'm not going to sue you. I would, if you're going to do it online, especially at a low blow, I'd say, well, here's the receipts, Tsar, right? You're just being stupid, right? So he could sue him, or he could prove his innocence by saying, here's the list. Clearly I'm not on it, or clearly I haven't done it. What you say and what you've insinuated is such a low blow. Elon is essentially insinuating, and I think this is so low. He's insinuating that Trump is a diddler.
Yeah, he's on the list, and that's the only reason you're not saying it. That's a wild claim to make. That's a huge claim to make.
Epstein equals diddling younger people.
Yeah.
That's the equality, right? Epstein.
Maybe Elon said that because he knows that you'll never see the list.
But no, come on, Will.
I don't think we're ever seeing that list.
That's true. I don't think we're ever seeing the list.
Really?
But
this has to be the watershed. This has to be the Watergate. This has to be the moment where Trump responds in turn and says, "Here's the receipts. Here's the truth. Here's the Truth Social. Here's what I got." Like, this has to be the moment where he has the right recompense to say, "I'm not going to sue you because that's dumb because you're going to go through discovery anyway, right? And it's going to have to come out at some level." I don't know, man. I think the world's waiting on pins and needles for how DJT is going to respond. How do you think he's going to respond?
I don't know. Because I think if it was policy and business related, then they would continue a public spat. They would figure it out. They'd probably do some sort of press conference together. They would make amends,
squash
at least
the beef
publicly, even though that they may stay separated privately. They would do a public hearing together, just so that people are like, okay, this is over. Let's move on with lives.
Do you think this spat was building up over the last couple months?
Yeah, for sure.
You think so?
Their egos are too big, and it's just inevitable that they would clash.
So we've seen a pattern in Trump. You correct me if I'm wrong, but we've seen a pattern in Trump where he hates losing. He hates being seen as a loser in any type of equation. And so right now I feel like Trump is kind of in the losing position right now. Right? Yeah, he's clapping back on True Social. He's clapping back on, and saying stuff in response, but the responses are not satisfying, Matt.
Trump has been more calculated in this, I believe, because he could have matched Elon's level of emotion.
Yes, that's true.
And he could have went on a tirade like he's done in the past, but he hasn't.
All caps.
So I think that's actually him showing restraint. He knows that public perception is better for him if he shows more presidential and doesn't get into this complete poo-fling. But Elon, on the other hand, has been poo-flinging.
Yeah, nonstop. Like,
so
every hour, something new is coming out.
I think in the long run, people will remember this moment where they will remember Trump more favorably for this moment. And if he's thinking 4D, 5D, like long-term chess, then I think he's handling it the right way.
The longer he waits for a legitimate response, the more that he's going to have knuckleheads like you and I continuing to talk about it and create theories around what it's doing. So if it's from a media megaphone perspective, the longer Trump waits, the better it is for him, actually, right? Because if he were to immediately respond with reaction and emotion, it would probably not be a good look. So I think you're wise and you're correct in saying that Trump is being restrained. He's restraining himself here. I think that's a wise idea.
Yeah, who do you think will benefit from this in the long run between the two?
Oh, that's a good question. Who will benefit most? Well, so let's go to a model.
Because the person that benefits most is actually the winner.
Well, yeah. Well, that's kind of usually how it works. But if we go to a model, and it's an unfortunate model, the model is that justice is not fair, especially for the higher levels of influencers, politicians, etc., celebrities, etc. You and I have to live by the letter of the law because we're plebs, and we have to live. And if we do something bad, we go to jail. But we know that justice is not equal at the higher echelons of power. And so the unfortunate model that I'm thinking in my mind right now is they're both going to benefit because nothing comes out of nothing when these people spat and they have so much power and money and influence that does, let's use the model for Diddy. What's going to happen to all of the cast of characters around Diddy? The answer is nothing, because all of these celebrities will still rub shoulders with terrible human beings because they have influence, power, and money. Let's be honest. There's not a single actor, sorry, but I truly believe this. There's not a single actor that is unblemished. They're all compromised. It's all ego. Like someone could go to a famous actor right now and say, hey, my brother in Christ, you're hanging out with a pedo. You're hanging out with a terrible human being. You're hanging out, and they would look at you and say, don't care. They give me access to parties. They give me access to booze. They give me access to opportunities. Like, don't care if this is a terrible person. Diddy is the perfect example of people who knew behind the scenes, behind the veil, that he was a terrible human being. And it's coming out in all of this court stuff, right? But yet still, these celebrities have no moral compass. They're still willing to hang out with Diddy. Why? Because Diddy, at the height of his game, was the man you needed to know. He was who was that famous Hollywood guy, that Weinstein. He was the Weinstein of the entertainment, right? Everybody knew, and even we had the comedians at the big award show saying, all you terrible human beings hanging out with Weinstein, you knew he was doing all this bad stuff, and all of them are like looking in shame, and they're like, yeah, I know, but he gave me access to cool shit. Like, these people have no moral compass. So if I looked at the model, nothing's going to happen from nothing.
And they both win.
Isn't it? Who gets stuck with the bag?
We.
Oh, are we the bad guys again?
We are always the bag holders.
Fuck,
you
bro,
are always
not
the
like
bag
this,
holder.
man.
The people are always the bag holder. They get to spiff and fight and poo-fling and be drama queens on the internet.
And we still lose.
We lose. They still walk away. Elon will still be fuck you rich. Trump will still be fuck you powerful. And in the end of the day, here we are spinning in circles.
Man, Matt, this is not a good conclusion to this idea in this model here. But unfortunately, the model is real. The patterns are real. And we see that a lot of times these powerful people in positions of power and influence usually just get a little slap on the wrist and say, please don't do that again, Tsar. And they continue on. It's an unfortunate occurrence.
Is this recoverable? Can they ever go back to being the Trump Elon that they were parading around as prior?
Did you see the Ye tweet? I tweeted about it.
Oh, no.
I tweeted about it. Ye was like, no, guys, we love you so much. We live in a timeline, Matt. We live in a timeline where Kanye West...
He's the rational one.
Right? The guy who made... The guy that made the HH popular is the one that's going, no, guys, we loved you so much. He's the peacemaker? What clown fiesta timeline are we in, bro? How is this possible? I want to get this tweet up because I could not believe that Kanye West is the guy who's saying, "Guys, no, we love you so much." Here it is. Here, I had it for a second. Now it's gone. It's slow. Okay, let me bring this up because it was so good. Where is it? Where's the Kanye tweet?
They need to figure out how to get it back together.
Here's my tweet. What timeline are we in that the guy who made Hitler cool is now the peacemaker? I love the internet so much it hurts. And this is what Ye said. He said, "Bros, please, no!" Hug emoji. We love you both so much. How is Kanye West the peacemaker, dude? What's going on? Is this a sideshow?
The reality is that, like them or hate them, the country would function better if they were at least not fighting.
Or at least pretending like they're not fighting.
The fact that
lie to me harder,
went
Sar.
to this level, I was shocked.
I know you were, because we had a conversation before we started pressing the record button. You were visibly shocked. Like, how is this possible?
I'm still trying to figure it out. I think a lot of people are. And if you're confused on what's going on, like, our heart goes out to you.
Our hearts go out to you, SARS. We do.
Because it's a wild time we're living in.
So I want to get back to Will's comment, though. Are we truly not going to see the insides and the innards of the Epstein list?
No. They've already basically told us it's not going to happen.
But, so, can we pull on that thread? Some have said that the reason why, there's multiple theories here, right? The reason why Trump cannot release it is, number one, he's actually on the list, which, some people brought up lawyers and saying, oh, we talked to Trump and, Epstein said that he's not, he goes to the parties in the first half and then doesn't go to the second half. We've seen receipts and people saying that, but who knows? Who knows what's true is the short answer. Another theory is he can't release it because all of both sides on the red and the blue are also indicted on it. And so he's on the list. We got red and blue people on the list, politicians on the list. And so he could not, if he were to reveal the list, the entire system would go down.
Can I offer a kind of a really odd thought?
Yes, please.
What if they don't even have the list anymore? What if it was compromised, it's been purged, it's been taken out, the data has already been stripped away from the government, and they can't say we lost it because we know that the government is really bad keepers of our data and information, that they lose shit all the time, that the record keeping is not that great. What if they actually don't have it? And they don't even know how to say that. So that's why they're kicking the can down the curve, because they don't know. It's like, hey guys, actually, that list that we promised to show you guys? We lost it. My dog ate the homework. You know what I mean?
Get out of town.
Is that even a possibility?
You're basically saying that our government is so inept, is so retarded, that they don't even have the sauce.
Is that impossible at this point?
It could have been deleted on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, somebody could have deleted it,
right, like Clinton,
intentionally or unintentionally, or hacked.
Right, Clinton in the emails, right?
Yeah.
Right. What did she do? Was she bleached?
30,000
She bleached
emails
them.
or whatever, yeah.
She bleached them. Yeah.
Maybe they don't even have it, and they don't even know how to respond. We're like, no, this guy saw it. I swear, like, no one wants to be the guy that saw it. Like, who wants to be that guy in public? So it's like, okay, like, maybe they had a meeting, like, hey guys, and you don't know that list is like, no, I thought you had it. Like, no, I thought you had it. Like, do we not have it? Okay, now what?
Did someone right click on the trash can and delete it accidentally? Like, is that what happened? Well, we know.
Sorry, sir. It was during the data migration process of whatever order, and somehow during the process we lost the entire database. They do that shit all the time, by the way.
You just made me think of something. And poof, all the conversation about Palantir went away.
Gone.
Yeah, no one's talking about it.
Gone.
Maybe, here's another theory. Maybe this is just a play that we're in, which I always talk about because I think politics is a day of our lives play. It's a Friends show. Maybe this is the distraction away from what Palantir is actually doing.
But I would have agreed with you if it was just them publicly fighting.
But Palantir, you know this, with receipts, Palantir was invested by Epstein. And Epstein and Palantir and Peter Thiel, maybe not Epstein, but we know that Peter Thiel helped push in, here's another theory, J.D. Vance. He's the one who introduced Trump to J.D. Vance. So here's a meta play. Maybe this is a mechanism to get Trump out so that J.D. and Palantir and his homies like Peter Thiel truly take over the Borg.
So Elon is working with the other technocrats in order to remove Trump. Is that the claim?
I mean, do we not agree at some level that our government has been co-opted by big private and public businesses, big data companies?
So Elon this entire time was the controlled opposition. If that's true, it kind of makes sense. I'm not saying it is true. I don't know. But that narrative and story
Well,
plays. Because I don't think Elon's going to be like, okay, I'm really gung-ho Trump, and then all of a sudden I'm going to flip. At least at this level. To do what you're suggesting. If this kind of ploy and this coup is going on, then you would assume that he was in it from the beginning.
That's the first time I've heard that word in all of these scenarios.
Coup.
Did you just bring up, that's a dangerous word. So let me pull on that even more. We know that, thanks to the internet sleuths and the receipts, that Elon's baby mamas are all of a certain species, all of a certain culture, all of a certain heritage. I'll tell you, the attack vectors for all of his baby mamas being of a similar species and being of a similar culture, really, if we think about the patterns out there with Epstein, maybe Elon was fully compromised by those entities and individuals of that species and culture group so that they told him to be the mole in the Trump administration so that they could get the big data companies and the Palantirs in.
If Elon was a mole, this problem is bigger than two men fighting.
Bro, yeah.
We are at the precipice of something enormous.
Yeah.
I actually don't like to think about it too much because the implication of what that means is actually huge.
Sounds like global destruction. Sounds like Armageddon. Let's put the pieces together here. We know that Elon has attack vectors that you and I would never allow in life, which is you now have, baby mamas, and you have mechanisms of control. Right? He's got so many attack vectors because of his stupid penis. Like if he didn't allow his little head to make his decisions for him, then he wouldn't have all these attack vectors, right? And so we have to believe at some level that he's been talked to. And from circumstantially, just recently, he had that black eye, which we talked about in our last episode. So maybe this was the, hey, it's time to get
Trump
in line.
Did commentary on that black eye, by the way.
He did, you're
which
right.
was really interesting. He said, yeah, we actually told Elon, offered him some makeup.
And he said no.
And he said no. Then that interesting. Like,
we've talked about rituals, we've talked about shame, we've talked about these types of things, yeah?
So, okay, final question. Is there a good guy and is there a bad guy?
Well, today is Friday, June 6th, and today is the 81st or maybe 82nd anniversary of D-Day, when America invaded Normandy and Omaha Beach and all those. And if for those who are illuminated, you know that D-Day in many ways was a, let's just say, sacrificial ritual. Where am I going with all this? You say, is there a good guy in all of this? Well, maybe in World War II, we weren't the good guys. Maybe we were the bad guys. So, celebrating D-Day, being a sacrificial ritual of all of our brothers who died for what? Trans? I mean, let's think about all of the people who died in World War II. Do you think they would be happy with how we've, let's say, honored their legacy?
I don't think there's a lot of people from that era that are really happy about what's going on today.
Probably not.
Regardless of if they died or regardless how they died.
Yes, probably not. And the survivors are probably, I mean, we know that the ones who are dead are rolling in their grave, and the ones who are surviving, we've seen clips of them being like, I'm going to kill, you know, I'm going to delete this person because of the blue-haired sheepdog. And so, again, I'm getting to the point. The point is, maybe they're all bad guys. Maybe there cannot be. Maybe Kim Jong-un is the good guy. Did you see that tweet?
No.
You didn't see the tweet, the meme of Kim Jong-un like tweeting to like I forget who it was, and he was like, "Oh, these guys are fighting. They're asshole. You know, I'm your missile man now," or something like this. It's like, well, maybe America is the bad guy, and maybe the good guys are the ones not stateside.
Let us know your thoughts. Who is the good guy? Are you team Elon? Are you team Trump? Are you team neither?
Tell us your theories too.
Or is this all political theater and we're just watching another episode of Real Housewives of Mar-a-Lago? See you guys next week.